Hi everyone, I'm delighted to see you here today. I can't wait to get you started on these lessons that will make such a difference to you and your family dog. I'm going to talk about how to get your dog to listen without nagging, cajoling or bribery. So tell me, have you got a new puppy? Exciting. Or have you adopted an older dog? Good for you. Or perhaps your resident dog is throwing up some tricky behaviours you'd really rather he didn't, like raiding the bin or running off when you call him or pulling your arm out of its socket on a walk. Barking! Why did you choose to get a dog in the first place? As a companion? To provide fun and entertainment? And has it worked out like that? What I'm going to show you will help with all those things that you may be putting up with at the moment, hoping your dog will somehow grow out of them. There's not much hope there, I have to tell you. In fact, once you've learnt the key points from today's workshop, you'll feel so much better about your dog or your new puppy, who is, let's face it, a bit more of a challenge than you expected. But you'll learn that it's not your dog's fault, it's not your puppy's fault, and it's not your fault either. I'm going to show you a way of working with your dog that you may not have come across before. A way to get him to want to do what you ask. Yes, really. You see, I say ask and not tell. There's no telling in this system. And the great thing is that there's no telling off either. Peace and harmony all the way. Just what you wanted when you first brought your dog or puppy home. Now, in a recent survey of my readers, over half of the several hundred respondents said that listening and connection were their biggest issues. And of course, you can't have a reliable recall without a dog who listens. Now, dogs have been taught to drive cars and fly planes. Yes, really, this is true. So using that great brain to keep his feet on the floor or his mouth shut is a doddle to him, once you're able to get him to understand what you want. This training is super actionable. You're actually going to learn one of my favourite techniques that hundreds of my students have found work to transform their life with their dog for good. I just want to say thank you for taking this time to watch this workshop today. I hope you'll love it. There will be lessons, but there are also lots of mini lessons all the way through the workshop. Don't miss them. Oh, and if you have any questions, be sure to ask them in the chat box on this page. We're here to help and we'll get back to you very soon. So I want to kick off with an important mini lesson right away. Let me ask you this. Where is your dog right now? If you're at home, he should be there right in the same room as you. Of course, if he's very new, a young puppy perhaps, he may be sleeping safely in his crate or playpen. But if not, he should be with you. If you want to build a strong relationship with your dog, you want him to think that you're the bee's knees. There should be nowhere he'd rather be than with you. So if you look up from this screen and you can't see your dog, go and fetch him right now. Encourage him to be with you. It baffles me when people complain that their new dog or pup follows them around everywhere. That's just as it should be. It's what you want. And if that's not the case, you need to change this immediately. As we work through today's lessons, you'll see how essential it is that your dog wants to be with you. If not, why should he ever listen to you? I'm Beverly Courtney and I've been training dogs, teaching dog owners, living with dogs, drawing dogs, writing books about dogs for many years. You could say I'm obsessed with dogs. I've taught thousands of people at my training school, thousands more through my online programs, and another 100,000 readers through my books. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of students now so you can see how this stuff really works for people like you. I'll start sharing my screen now. Sue says about her Betty, "Thank you to Beverly and the team for showing me the way and all the encouragement we've had since we started with a manic little fluffball who took over the household. She is an absolute joy." And Scylla says, "Many thanks for being you. Your training truly is brilliant." So today you're going to learn the exact same strategies that have catapulted these students forward in their dog owning lives, like Aletta, who says Shelby is a changed dog. And Vicky with her 6-year-old adopted street dog, "I am amazed at Albert's progress." Sue, Aletta and Vicky are all students in my program. By the way, all the photos of dogs you'll see in this workshop are dogs I've helped in some way, mostly as students in my workshops and advanced programs. I haven't just taken photos from the internet. These are real dogs with real owners, just like you. And I'm not going to bore you with 30 minutes talking about myself. I'll be delivering value so that you'll get something you can take and actually implement right away, today, this afternoon. As Lisa said about her 8-week-old puppy, 2 days and it's like a whole different world opened up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be sharing an offer for one of my programs a bit later. What you'll see is actually an inside view of the kind of things I teach and how I do it. A taster for you. I'm going to give you some lessons from the program, so if you're ready to get started, let's go. Have you got your dog with you now? Good. Are you beginning to wonder if there's any hope for your challenging dog? Are you frustrated and embarrassed by your dog's behaviour? Are you feeling alone with this problem? And are you ready to do what's needed to change things for the better? Is that you? You've set aside the time to watch this workshop, so I'm sure you wouldn't be here if you were half-hearted about this. You're in the right place. Got a dog who just doesn't listen. If half your walks are spent trying to get your vanished dog back, the other half is spent having your arm pulled out of its socket, and if you have to nail everything down to stop your dog stealing it. So you're here because you want to make a change. And you want to learn how to affect this without pain or intimidation, bullying or nagging. You love your dog. Who wouldn't love these eyes Echo is giving us? Her owner had great fun in our program. So what's going on with your dog and why do you need to change? Clearly, having him listen is at the top of the list. Having people see the lovable side of your dog, not just the mad side. And knowing while you build an unbreakable bond with your dog that you're doing your best for him. But there are other reasons to want to make a change. Having him come back when you call. We may have a fear that if we fail to control our dog, something bad could happen, and we just want some peace at home, without all our food and possessions being stolen and destroyed. These are all things we go into in depth in the program I mentioned I'll be showing you, but you're going to come away from this workshop with 3 big changes that will improve life with your dog or your new puppy straight away. I'm giving you actionable steps. You're going to learn how to teach your dog to listen without nagging, cajoling, or bribery. I love what Judy with her recently rehomed collie said. Isn't it just great doing this training and enjoying how clever, eager to please and loving our dogs are? Can you see her lovely boyo there? Is this something you'd like to be able to do? Get the change that Judy got? It would be a good idea to take loads of notes. I never watch a lesson online without taking notes. There's always something new. We can never know everything. I've had people write to tell me that they've watched this workshop at least 3 times to be sure they've squeezed every drop of goodness out of it. At the end of the workshop, I'm going to give you something to take away that will really help you put these ideas into practice, so be sure to listen up when I tell you about it. So first, let me just tell you a little about me, just so you know who you're listening to. Maybe you know a bit about me, or maybe you're wondering who on earth I am. This is the official version, and here's the inside track. I'm all about changing the way people interact with their dogs so that conflict and frustration are a thing of the past, so they can enjoy life as they expected when they first got their dog. So I need to tell you just enough about me to show I can help you without boring the socks off you. I've loved animals all my life. You can see the joy in this 3-year-old face when I first met goats. Watch out for their reappearance a bit later on. But it wasn't until I'd finished my degree and I was ready to work for myself from home that I at last got my first dog, Poppy. Up to then, I'd had to make do with 6 cats. Poppy came from London's famous Battersea Dogs Home, and she cost £9.80, including the collar and lead. Never was £9.80 better spent. But Poppy, who was just meant to be a pet and companion, went above and beyond all that and took me into the world of dog obedience, agility, and working trials. That's tracking and searching, kind of police dog work without the biting. Here she's clearing the 9-foot long jump with ease. In fact, this little waif and stray from the dog's home ended up a working trials champion. I was so proud of her. Look, she had more letters after her name than I had. Super little dog. Here's another lesson I learned. Trust your dog's intelligence. Time went by, and along with more dogs and yet more cats, I built up a herd of prize-winning dairy goats. Here are those goats again. I had to wait so many years for them. I also had a small flock of pedigree sheep, a donkey, hens, guinea pigs, oh, and 2 boys. I competed with the dogs, the goats, and the sheep, so I sure had my hands full. But hear this, I found that all of them, including the children, learnt the same way. Not just using a carrot instead of a stick, but giving them a choice. It worked absolute wonders. That and being totally consistent always. Fast forward to 2009 when I founded my dog training school, Good for Dogs, bringing choice training to dog owners locally. And there I was, happily focusing on puppies and new rescue dogs, helping their owners see that there was no need to be the boss, a leader, in control, but that kindness and love won the day every time. When I realised that the transformation I was seeing daily in my classes had to reach more people, I yearned to reach more people around the world. So I started my blog at brilliantfamilydog.com, which now has nearly 300 articles on dog training. Then followed my book series. We're up to 9 now. You can find them all on Amazon. And when I started out, I tried to learn from other people. But I found that many of them talked only of punishing the dog. The only way they could operate was by yelling no, shaking the dog, yanking her collar, throwing things at her, hurting her, causing frustration and distress all round. Sadly, there are still a lot of these trainers about. You may have been unfortunate and found one of them. You go looking for help with the dog you love and you're told to do all kinds of nasty things to her. Use nasty gadgets, throw things, punish, prevent, prohibit. But follow your instincts. Be kind. If the things they want you to do to your dog make you feel sick, follow your gut. Leave. There's another lesson for you. Of course, there are mercifully more dog trainers around now who don't do nasty things to dogs. But often I find they speak in a foreign lingo. It's dog trainer speak, leaving you scratching your head about what they could possibly mean. I did masses of study to get qualified and I learnt the science behind it all, so I could be confident I wasn't talking nonsense. But I don't need to inflict that lingo on you. Like your car mechanic understands engines. All you need to understand is which pedal to press and how to point the thing. Getting this information into the hands of those who need it most, that could be you, without fogging the issue with nasty practices, strange concepts, and words which are meaningless to the dog owner in the street, that's probably you too, as it was me. This is my passion, making kind dog training accessible to everyone, so that people say, oh, it's so obvious when you put it like that. Now, one of the things I learnt through all this is that people may start out with fixed ideas about what their dog should do, and that their new puppy should automatically understand. Mostly, that's by magic. They're quick enough to tell the dog off when she's not doing what they expect, but they never actually tell their confused dog what they'd like her to do. Instead, they call her stubborn, stupid, difficult, obstinate, and all the rest. How could this innocent little puppy be any of those things? Just look at him. And it's easy to make the situation worse with the wrong approach. Many trainers will try and force the dog to behave. You've got to show who's boss, they say, completely ignoring the fact that the poor dog is usually acting like she is because she has no idea what you'd actually like her to do. As one of my students said recently, when I watched the lesson, I realised I'd been saying, leave it, and expecting him to know what it meant. Easy mistake to make. Shouldn't all dogs speak English? That's another lesson. But what is a stubborn dog? If someone said to you, come here, go there, stop, get off, sit down, and all in Chinese or Swahili, you'd probably just ignore them or stand stock still, mystified. When we're confused, we do nothing. Stubborn is your word to describe what your dog appears to be when she's confused. And those labels that people use, they can actually work against you. They fix the idea in your head, so you can't change. I prefer to describe what your dog is doing, and that reveals what your dog is feeling. So having got some basics ironed out, I'm going to show you the 3 steps to teaching your dog to listen, without nagging, cajoling, or bribery. Is this something you'd like to know? To realise how you've been befuddling the situation and just possibly making things worse? The first important lesson you need to appreciate is that dogs always do things for a reason. Not out of stubbornness, naughtiness, obstinacy, willfulness, all those things we're told by people who are looking at it all wrong and simply don't understand. If your dog has no idea what you want, they'll choose something that they want and that works for them. That's what they'll do. I think even for the advanced people here, it's important to hear this beginner stuff. Sometimes we get too advanced and forget some of the basics. So here's the secret. Read this sentence yourself. Dogs do what works. By now, having worked with so many different animals down the years, I totally believe that the way forward with my dog, with any animal or child, is through love and understanding. I'd no more punish a dog for his confusion than I'd punish a small child. I never want to see my dog cowering from me. This loving face is what I want to see. Just look at that smile, all that love. You have to see this picture. Can you see it? But it wasn't an overnight fix. For my dog to change, I had to change. Did you get that? Jot it down before you forget. For my dog to change, I had to change. This is an important lesson. It's not all about the dog. It takes 2 to tango. You'll want to put a lot of hours into putting this learning into practice and getting this right with your dog. But of course, we spend time with them anyway, whether it's interactions in the home or walks outside. So really, just change your focus in the time you already spend with them, rather than having to find more time. Nowadays, my dogs are pretty easy. They understand our basic house rules. I can leave food anywhere about the house. Do look at this photo. This was entirely spontaneous. It wasn't posed. She wasn't being tested. In fact, when I saw her there on the picnic table, I went inside to get the camera, came out again and took the picture. I can go out for a coffee or a meal, and they're good. I wish I'd known at the outset how to understand my dogs better, but like most people, I didn't. And like most people, I did some things wrong before getting it right. Know the feeling? But dogs are very forgiving, and what I teach is very forgiving too. Don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes are stepping stones to the answers. In fact, I'll let you into a secret. There are no mistakes. It's all just learning. Jot this down, it's important. Whatever you do, you either get the result you want or the lesson you need to learn. Think about that one. There are no failures. You can hear the pleasure in Wiley's voice here. Luca is much more attentive. You can see in these words that the happiness of their dog is of paramount importance to them, as it is to me, and as I'm sure it is to you. So I'm going to give you something of what I gave Wiley and all the others you've met today. On top of all the tips I've given you so far, I've given you quite a number. I hope you pick them all up. I want you to be able to walk away from this training with actionable information that will get you several steps nearer to where you want to be. For many people, just getting through the day with their dog or puppy is fraught with anguish and often ends up a sorry mess. This is stressful for your dog, stressful for your family, and very stressful for you. You've got your dog to be your companion and friend, not to have fights with. We've looked at some of the reasons why things aren't working out with your dog. Now we can look at what we can do. So here are some ideas that you can put into practice straight away and transform your daily life. Got that paper and pen at the ready? Get yourself comfortable so you can focus on this. I'm going to show you a new slide now. There are 3 vital steps to teaching your dog to listen without any nagging, cajoling or bribery. I bet your dog's just like mine, full of curiosity, full of life, always want to try things out, tasting, sniffing, exploring. So why is your dog deaf to you? Why does your sweet cuddly friend not come when you call? And most importantly, what can you do about it? Write down in your book now, why is your dog doing this? And I'm sure you've got it. Yes. It's because dogs do what works. And she reckons it's simply not worth her while to listen to you. And that's a sobering thought. Remember when I said earlier that the goats, the sheep, the donkey all respond in the same way to what we may loosely term training, not forgetting the children and the dogs? Well, let's take a little diversion into how we behave as intelligent and socially educated humans. Imagine you're welcoming a guest into your home. This guest is, let's say, Chinese. At any rate, your guest does not speak your language, nor you his. So you say to him, sit down. He has no idea what you said and just stares at you. So you shout, sit down. Sit down. I said sit down. Go and sit in that chair now. No, of course this wouldn't happen. In fact, you'd say quietly and with a smile, please have a seat. You'd motion him to the chairs and encourage him with more smiles. You'd wait for him to choose a seat. You'd give him time to process your request and act on it. In other words, you give him a choice, and you give him time to make his choice. Is this what most people do with their new dog or pup? No, they expect them for some unknown reason to speak English, or whatever they speak. They expect a puppy who's only been on the planet a matter of weeks to know exactly what this person from another species wants. Their new rescue dog, who may already have had a hard time with people, is now badgered and shouted at for breaking rules she had no idea existed. So the first step is to completely change your attitude towards your dog and your idea of what she understands. Once you realise she doesn't understand what you want, you'll no longer label her as stubborn, difficult, defiant, or say, she knows perfectly well what I want, she's just ignoring me. Your first step is to ask politely, just as you ask your visitor politely. Give your dog time to understand and watch what happens. This may surprise you. Coco is taking me literally here with this sitting business. Ah, that's better. Okay, you say, so what happens when I ask politely and nothing happens? This is gold. This is information. This is where our learning comes in. The result you want or the lesson you need to learn. Nothing has happened because either your dog doesn't understand what you want or he understands but doesn't think it's worth bothering about. We'll deal with the first thing first and come to the second in a bit. So your first step is to ask politely. No yelling. Pause, allow your dog time to process what you've said, and be enthusiastic in your response. Try it now. Go on, just give it a try now. So, if you just tried that, I'm nearly willing to bet you said sit, 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 sit. That is, if you're like 90% of my students when they first arrive. Your dog's lack of response now tells us one of two things. Either she doesn't actually know what sit means, or she's so used to you saying it 6 times, 10 times, however many times, that she's happy to wait till you've finished and then decide what to do. So your second step is only say it once. That means you say it and you zip it. Write this down now. Say it and zip it. Hard? You may be getting an inkling now of how confusing it is for your dog. This is one of Lily Chin's marvellous illustrations. So instead of ever louder and crosser, sit, sit, sit. Say sit politely. Wait. Keep waiting. Dog doesn't sit. You walk away. Try again later. Now, of course, it should go without saying that you can't expect your dog to understand anything at all until you've taught her, by connecting the action you want with a good outcome for her. In fact, you don't actually add a vocal cue like sit till much later. My academy goes into clear detail on this and the important reasoning behind it in the step-by-step video lessons. For now, just say it and zip it. If every time your puppy does something you like, you reward her, how much faster is she going to respond next time you ask? Now, do not confuse rewarding with bribing. There's a huge difference between rewarding someone for something they did and manipulating them into doing something with threats or bribery. Do you work for pay? Thought so. So how about paying your dog for work too? Fair? If you think this is a bad idea, it suggests that you think your dog should accept poorer working conditions than you do. Without going into the science behind all this, rewards mean that your dog is more likely to do the thing again. That's fact. It's proven. Rewards do half the work for us. You don't need to do all the scientific study. Universities do that. I've learnt it for you. Just take it from me. Now you're stacking the odds in your favour. Your dog now knows that if, when you say sit politely, she sits, she gets a reward. So why ever would she not do it every time? And supposing she doesn't sit and you think she knows the word, maybe she's upset. Maybe she's distracted. Maybe if she's a puppy, she's hungry, tired, needs a wee. Once you know what works and why, you can get your deer stalker and your pipe and you can work out what's going amiss. So step 2 is only say it once. Now here's the gold. The thing is that if you ask her to do something which she knows always brings a reward, she can choose whether to earn her reward or not. So the third step is always give a choice. I hear you. You think the lunatics are going to take over the asylum. You think you are abdicating responsibility, but in fact you are giving your dog responsibility. And like the amazing results gained from giving children responsibility, the improvement in work when you give an employee responsibility, your dog will respond too. Now, you want to box clever here. You weight the choices you give, so you don't actually mind which way the dog chooses. And because you're not invested in the outcome, you don't get upset or emotionally involved in it. So, no tellings off. And just before you say, well, what do I do when my dog is running away and doesn't listen? I think you'll see that you've got to put in some groundwork first. We don't jump from learning simple arithmetic to understanding calculus. We don't do our first ever swim in the deep end of the pool. You need to teach your dog step by careful step that you are worth listening to. It's in her interest to listen to you. Good things happen when she listens to you. So I'm going to give you a start here with a simple but incredibly valuable game. It's called the Precious Name Game. Does your dog think his name is precious? Be honest. Over the last 10 times your dog's name escaped from your mouth, was it good news for your dog? Really? Or was it perhaps Rover? Rover, stop! Rover, get off! Rover, put that down! Oh, Rover! Let's clean that up right away and show your dog that his name is always worth responding to. To his ears, your dog's name should be the best sound in the world, especially when it's coming from your mouth. So you only use your dog's name when you compare it with good things. So, Fido, give him a treat. Fido, show him affection. Fido, get the lead for a walk. Fido, give him his dinner. Fido, toss him a toy. You get the picture. So I may say my dog's name, and whether he flicks an ear in my direction or comes barreling in, he is rewarded. When you're frustrated or short-tempered, or you need to interrupt barking in a hurry, you don't use his name. What do you use instead? Absolutely anything you like. Dog, sausages, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, or something more colourful which I won't say here. Whatever you call, you don't call his name. Sue found that this simple game worked brilliantly for her Charlie and Maggie. Now they come running when I say their names, she says. Dogs are simple creatures. They do what works, and they learn fast. Simply follow these 2 steps. You can put your notebook down for a minute and look at these slides carefully. 1, always connect your dog's name to a reward. You have always got some treats handy, haven't you? And 2, never use your dog's name when you're annoyed. Focus on these 2 steps religiously for 3 days and see where you are. Did you get that? Jot it down now before you forget. Always connect your dog's name to a reward. Never use your dog's name when you're annoyed. Suddenly, you're interesting. Suddenly, your dog keeps an eye on you all the time. Suddenly, your dog is listening to you. Now, can you see this slide? It's important. Measure your success not by how many words your dog knows, but by how much she loves her name. So many unenlightened trainers will tell you have to either show your dog who's boss by yanking the nasty collar they've had you buy, or by throwing something noisy at her, or that you have to distract her by yelling at her. These methods, as you may already have found out, are doomed to failure. They won't work. Why? Because they're not addressing how your dog feels. And the last thing we want to do to a new puppy or a new rescue dog is to terrorize them. So instead of nagging and cajoling, trying this or that collar or gadget to interrupt her, waggling a treat in front of her nose to try and get her attention, we need to let her find out through her own experience that it's worth her while to listen to you. So you can see now that you can take your new strategies from this workshop and apply them immediately. I've shown you the 3 steps to teaching your dog to listen without nagging, cajoling or bribery. 1, ask politely. 2, only say it once. 3, always give a choice. And you've learnt the precious name game. Life will get easier. You'll get an instant improvement. It's the start of your new journey. If you've been listening to this and saying, but my dog will never change, you'll be delighted to know that it works with any dog, any age, any breed or type. It even works with this monkey. But tell me, are you finding all this useful? Can you see how you can make your life better? You can use this information right away, especially with a puppy just a few weeks old like Stanley here. You can start right now. Now I've found the answers, I've learnt the lessons, I want to reach as many dogs as possible and help all those owners who are still listening to the old wives' tales about dominance, pack theory, being the leader, only because they don't yet know better. And I'll show you a way which is enjoyable for both you and for your dog. It's empowering all round and it works. And I want to make sure that the ordinary dog owner in the street, that's you again, right, can understand exactly what I'm saying. So it has to be jargon-free and intelligible to everyone. I don't want to make it harder to understand. I want to make it easier. So the long and the short of it is that I really do know how you feel with your challenging dog. I'm just the same as you. And I've cracked the code. I've drawn from all the force-free techniques and ideas out there and designed my own system which everyone can understand, even if you've never had a dog before. And it's just what my students work through with such success. It's information I've taken years to learn and shape into a program so that you can just duplicate it. It's worked with my own dogs, and it's worked with the thousands of dogs I've taught. Can you appreciate that just understanding what your dog is thinking can make all the difference? As Tony Robbins, the world-famous speaker, says, if you want to be successful, find someone who's achieved the result you want and copy what they do, and you will achieve the same results. In other words, follow someone who's already done it. Oh, and if you got lost taking all those notes, never fear. Remember, I have something for you at the end of this workshop that will make it all as clear as day, and it'll make it very easy for you to replicate with your dog. Of course, there's so much more I'd love to show you that would make all this even easier. How to teach new things quickly, easily, and with great fun all round. What equipment you need and what you should not waste your money on. How to socialise your new puppy. How to socialise your older dog. You need a very different system. Solid techniques for teaching your dog new skills, especially how to relax. Yep, an off switch for your dog. Who knew? How to walk nicely on the lead. Oh, so important. And of course, how to teach a stunning, fast, reliable recall. Not to mention all the help I can give you with house training, digging, barking, rewards, jumping up, recall, dog body language, and so much more. Everything you need for your new puppy or dog. You're here today because you're ready to take action. You don't want to spend months trying things that don't work. Maybe you've already lost months that way. Your little puppy is now a teenager. You need to move fast. What you know you need is a step-by-step method, instructions on exactly what to do, even if you've never trained a dog before. You want your hand held while you chart a new path with your dog or your new puppy. Maybe you're fed up with apologising for your dog jumping all over other people and getting pulled about by this mad thing on the end of your lead, then watching him disappear into the distance, ears flapping, but not listening. Perhaps you yearn to go on those long walks you planned when you first got your dog. Or maybe you've just had your new puppy a week and discovered that it's not quite as easy as you thought it was going to be. Your family could be getting up with this chaos. The children are now afraid of the puppies biting. Where is the happy home you imagined when you first got your dog? You may feel alone. Some people even feel that they're a useless dog owner. You're not, or you wouldn't be here. Or perhaps you just want to make your daily life with your dog more fun, like Judy and Lisa did. And you'd love to have a dog that you can be proud of. I can tell you that when I learned how to get my dog to want to listen to me, my life and my enjoyment of my dogs changed dramatically. Bye-bye guilt. Bye-bye frustration. Hello, pure enjoyment. And if you're like over half my readers in that survey I mentioned, getting your dog to listen and respond is right up at the top of your list. You may be surprised to learn how quickly you can change things once you have the right guidance. It's something that you can do, a system you can follow step by step, just like I did. In just a few weeks, you can get the same results I did. Here at Brilliant Family Dog, we want you to succeed. But if you take one thing away from this workshop, I want it to be that you can make a change with your lovely dog. It's not hopeless. I can show you the way. You want to be able to have relaxed, enjoyable walks with your family dog. You want people to see that she's really a lovely dog, not a mad, wild thing. And you want to enjoy watching your dog running free and know she'll come back when you call her. The obvious question is, how do I apply all this with my own dog? Well, you have a choice. Choice again. You can do it slowly with trial and error, loads of research, flitting all over the internet and making all the mistakes I made. Or you can do it quickly, using the full step-by-step process I created for you. You can work with what I've given you today by yourself, of course, but there'll be no one to redirect you if it doesn't go quite right. You can stay as you are, go yet another day without making the decision that will change your life for good, or you can work step by step with personal help from someone who's spent 15 years doing all the research, the science and the legwork and has the success you want, who will guide and help you all the way, saving you time, money, and frustration. In fact, it is simple, but we do need to be shown the way. There are traps and pitfalls you'll tumble into if you aren't forewarned, as I did early on. I fell into loads of them. I'll show you how you can make lots more changes like the ones we worked on today. Getting your lead walking perfect. Enjoying an instant recall. No more thieving. Finding your dog's off switch. Really, he does have an off switch. Without having to trek miles to find a suitable class. Without having to pay out for never-ending private tuition. Without worrying that you'll get a trainer who's nasty to your dog. No! Without scouring the internet for answers and trying to wade through all the conflicting advice, put it into some kind of order and make sense of it. You're too busy for that. I've gathered all my knowledge on teaching puppies and dogs and put it into one fantastic program. The Brilliant Family Dog Academy, for a dog you can be proud of. And yes, I'm very proud of it. It's a way for me to get this critical information to so many more dog owners and ultimately help your dog no matter where on the planet you may live. How would it feel if you headed off for a walk without that anxious sinking feeling in your stomach? What's he going to do today? How would it feel if you knew you and your dog were on the same side and you could trust her? How would it feel to be able to give your dog the freedom she loves while knowing she'll listen? And how would it feel to have someone beside you all the way? What you're looking at is not a simple how-to self-study course. It's not like that. It's a full, structured, supported program that brings you freedom, happiness, and pride in your dog. It will give you a whole new way of working with your dog, not against him, to get the results you crave, to enjoy your dog as you wanted when you first got him. Imagine your stress-free life where you can leave food on the table unmolested, like you saw with those donuts. Imagine enjoying a walk with your shoulder still comfortably in its socket. Imagine one call bringing your dog hurtling back to you. Chris has found a huge improvement in her Ted coming fast on one call. Such a great feeling when he comes running to me, she says. And Terza said that recall has improved dramatically. It's a relief to see this progress and to be able to look forward to more. Thank you. So clearly, by now you want to know exactly what you get. I'll give you a quick idea of what you're getting. There's so much there, but I won't go into too much detail and befuddle you. There are over 50 brief step-by-step videos showing real dogs and real puppies learning just like yours will be. These are not carefully trained dog actors. They're real dogs with real owners learning like you. In week 1, we start off explaining choice training to you so that it makes absolute sense, as you'll find in the famous focus game. Your transformation begins. In week 2, we find your dog's off switch. No more thieving. How to have a vet visit without tears. The start of walking nicely on the lead like Coco here. Week 3 is dedicated to a recall week workshop, using everything that you've learnt up to now to get a stunning instant spin on a sixpence recall. In week 4, we take your dog to visit a cafe or a pub. You can build a rock solid stay, and they can leave a cat, a ball, a dead bird, anything you don't want them to have. Week 5, we can take your dog on a shopping trip with super loose lead walking. And week 6, you can take your dog anywhere. There are confidence builders galore here, and you can teach your dog some fun tricks. There are guides and resources you can download, everything you need for success. Then on top of that, you get bonuses too. Everyone loves gifts. So let's see what you get. You get guides for socialization, house training, toy play, what to buy, what not to buy, all downloadable for you to keep. You get downloadable transcripts of all the sessions, ideal for those whose hearing is not so hot, and a library of video think pieces. Here's Coco enjoying one to enhance your understanding. You see, knowing what's going on is essential if you're going to effect a change. That's why I've put everything there so you can succeed. Your success is important to me. And to cap it all, you'll join our private, members-only community, which is not on Facebook. Look at all that lovely clean space around the posts. No ads, no noise. You can get coaching from me and my team of professional trainers there, and this is honestly one of the most valuable parts of the program, and where you get support and admiration from your fellow students. I don't just give you the stuff and say get on with it. I will take you through any queries you have. We will work through it with you. It's great to have other people who are sharing the journey with you. You can share experiences, the ups and downs, and you find that it's all okay, it's all normal. There'll be only good things here, we will all understand. It's one of the key parts of the course for many of the most successful students, with extra video lessons and extra resources. And having input from the very different personalities in my team, all professional force-free trainers, is so good. You'll make friends in Australia, America, England, Taiwan, Holland, South Africa, Sweden, Ireland, France, New Zealand, Germany, Canada, all over the place. There are dog owners all around the world who want to use only kindness to teach their dog, just like you. Have a look at what the students are saying. Dawn said, I'm over the moon with the course and I can see improvements every day. How far we've come over the last 6 weeks. Recall is really fast. He can't get back to me quick enough. I'm so happy I found this program. And Stephanie said, since starting this course on Sunday, he's already getting more responsive and is staying within close distance of me when off his lead. I'm so grateful that I found this training. And can you believe it? There's an app for your phone. You can carry the whole program and community around with you wherever you go and dip into a lesson whenever it suits you. You'll also have lifetime access. It's set out in weeks to stop you skipping ahead, but you have all the time in the world to enjoy it. So you can go at your own speed. This is not one of those courses where you have to rush like mad before you're out on your ear after a few weeks. And this includes all future updates, bonuses, freebies, whatever, free of charge. Once you're in, you're in. See how useful Rebecca found this continued access for her next puppy. Your training is absolutely brilliant. We just got another puppy and I'm doing it all again. And Isabella is definitely getting her money's worth for her young spaniel in both the program and the community, rewatching all the lessons, asking whatever she wanted. I really loved the whole experience, she said. And for a complete peace of mind, there's a money-back guarantee. There's genuinely no risk. You've absolutely nothing to lose. Maybe you're thinking that you can't justify paying for a program to get the companion dog you yearn for. It's all beginning to sound mighty expensive. The full value of a program of this quality and depth is usually upwards of £500. That would be over $600 US. And it sounds as if it's worth at least $1,000. But supposing I could say, give me 500 quid and I'll wave my magic wand and all your problems are gone. An instant cure. I bet you'd be up for that. I'm sure I would have been. And I have to say here that I paid out an awful lot more than 500 quid to acquire the knowledge and experience that I can now hand on to you. Very, very much more. Oh my gosh, just add a few noughts to that. When you include the value of the extra personal one-on-one coaching in the community, along with all the guides, cheat sheets, transcripts, and the app, you're looking at a value of at least £500 just for the bonuses. But don't worry, I don't have a magic wand, sadly, and I'm not going to ask you for even 500 quid. Usually this program is available at just under $300, but I want to keep it as low cost as possible so that everyone can have access to this vital teaching. You're going to be thrilled with this. For the whole Brilliant Family Dog Academy program, your investment is just £179 or $197 US. And there are payment options too, so you can get started today for as little as $49.95 or for $59. This is a special workshop price that will only be available for the next couple of days while you have access to this class, okay? Then it'll shoot back up to its usual price of £259 or $297 US. Here's what Annabelle has to say. There's her lovely Lily paddling in a stream. Could this be the missing piece of the puzzle for you? Now, you might have some questions and I'll address some of these now. Remember, you can get your individual questions answered in the chat box at the bottom of this page. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Type it in the chat right now before you forget. And if you're ready to join us now, just click on the button below and we'll see you in a minute. Why wait another moment to give your dog the help he needs? Now, you may be thinking, I don't have the time. Really? How much time have you spent hunting for your dog when he runs off? How much time do you spend worrying about what other people think of your dog and what they think of you? And how much time do you spend telling your dog off? And just how much time do you spend endlessly trawling the internet, scrolling through Facebook, listening to conflicting advice from who knows who, and trying to piece it all together? It's your time to finally create that bond with your dog that you yearn for in your head and in your heart. Got 2 dogs? You get double the value. You'll learn how to teach one dog to wait calmly while you work with the other. You'll teach them independence. They'll learn to take turns. Instead of double trouble, there'll be twice the fun. And see how life changed for Claire and Whisper, the newly rehomed 5-year-old Patterdale. She says, this is our 2nd week and I can't thank Beverly enough. I was getting to the end of my tether with Whisper and thinking I'd have to find her a new home. I know we've only just started, but I can see the difference in her. You might be thinking, I don't have the money. Think how much it would cost you to travel to a suitable class, especially for private sessions, possibly with weekend overnights too. And how easy is it to find that suitable class? Trainers with the right experience and a truly force-free approach are not always easy to find. Many of you have told me that you've spent $500, $1,000, many thousands of dollars or pounds already, and you really don't want to shell out thousands more. I get it. And you have to face the fact that your dog could run off, knock someone over, could cause a car accident. You could be looking at vet's fees, doctor's fees, lawyer's fees, far in excess of the small investment in this program. Read what Carol says here. I paid more than this entire course for a trainer to visit. I've started your course and I'm thrilled. I know full well that it's not easy having a dog that doesn't match your expectations. And without all the tools and strategies I use on a daily basis with my 4 dogs, I too would find it impossible and overwhelming. What would it be worth to you to end the struggles? No more stealing, no more running off, no more nipping, no more being pulled over on the lead. Only you can answer that. And then you might be thinking, I've never done this before. I don't know where to start. Don't worry, it's all laid out for you in a very carefully planned progression. The course opens up week by week to stop you jumping about and getting lost. It's one of the things that students comment on and particularly appreciate, that they don't have to flounder about wondering what to do next, or pick something they'd like to teach only to find they don't have the foundations in place. I won't let you do that. You won't ever get overwhelmed. Even dog owners with considerable experience, trainers themselves, love the structure and accessibility of the course and how it unfolds. Read Michelle's words here. It's funny. There's no jargon, no dog trainer speak, no trying to blind you with science. I and my team speak to you in everyday language and has people saying, oh, it's so obvious when you put it like that. Karen says, I'm really enjoying the first few lessons working through the program with Cassie. It's great to be able to get help and support from everyone here. If I'd only found Brilliant Family Dog when I first got her. I really, really want you to succeed. I'm not interested in taking people's money and saying, now go and get on with it. I'm available every step of the way. I make it as easy as possible for you. So if you're ready to join Chris, Terza and Dawn, Isabella, Rebecca, Claire, Judy and all the other students you've heard from today, at this very special price, click the button below. It takes you to the checkout page, and then you'll be in the program and starting your new life with your dog straight away. Here's a quick reminder of what you're getting. You can start applying everything you've learnt today and start seeing results straight away, as Stephanie and Claire found. But why stop there? The bottom line is you just want other people to see what a lovely dog you have. You want a dog you can be proud of. Until now, you had no idea where to start, which led to a lack of confidence, perhaps even shame. You didn't know who could teach you the strategies to succeed on this journey. Now you know. So I want you to join us today before this special workshop offer expires and the countdown reaches 0. Then you're on your own again. You can join us for £179 or $197 or just 4 payments of $49.95 or $59 a month. As I said, this is a special offer for you now. The Brilliant Family Dog Academy is usually £259 or $297, and that's what it'll be again in a few days, so don't delay. Right now you can save £80 or $100. Don't miss it. Just hit the big button below and join us. I'm going to leave you with this thought from Stuart about his rescue dog Ruby. Do read this. I can't start to explain how happy I am with the help and support I've had in the Brilliant Family Dog Academy and its carefully structured training. I'm so glad you came here today. The fact that you're still here shows you're really serious about wanting to make a change. You stayed with me for the whole workshop. This shows your determination, your character. You can do this. Think about what's been the most valuable thing you've learned today, and think about how much more you'll learn to transform your life with your dog for good. You want lasting change, not a quick fix. I'm so excited to be seeing you soon in the program, to meet you in the community, to get to know you and your dog and watch your progress. Seriously, you can do this too. And thank you for staying with me right to the end. Definitely don't leave without your bonus. You can download all the lesson slides from this presentation at brilliantfamilydog.com/workshop lessons, just till the countdown hits 0. Hi again. I hope you enjoyed the lessons you just learnt, and you'll start on them now and change life with your dog right away. And I hope too that I've given you everything you need to be able to decide whether this program is the last piece of the puzzle for you or whether you prefer to carry on as you are. You can rewatch this workshop as much as you like, just till the countdown hits 0. Meanwhile, any questions or worries at all, ask in the chat. Don't miss out on this because you didn't get your worry addressed. We're standing by to help you, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. That'll be very soon. So go check out the program below, and I'll see you on the inside. Bye for now.